Wells Fargo shares climbing after hours after the bank announces John Stumpf will step down from his posts as CEO and chairman effective immediately. The company has named President Tim Sloan to replace him as CEO, and Stephen Sanger becomes the bank's new chairman. The move comes amid a public outcry over the revelation that Wells Fargo employees have opened millions of bank accounts for customers who didn't request them. I want to bring in our Bloomberg News reporter, Dakin Campbell, now for more. So, Dakin, first of all, Stumpf is the guy who led Wells Fargo through the financial crisis. What do you make of this particular leadership shakeup? What does it mean?
That's a very good question. We sort of saw this coming in September. The CFPB announced a $185 million settlement with Wells Fargo over unauthorized, more than 2 million accounts that were thought to be opened without customer knowledge or approval. And so, you know, the pressure has been mounting on John Stumpf.
So at this point, what is the real damage here to Wells Fargo? You know, how are customers taking this news? Of course, John Stumpf has been in the hot seat for the last several months now. But is this really having an impact all the way down the chain?
It's a good question. We haven't seen much of that. Wells Fargo will report earnings on Friday, and we're hoping to learn a bit more about whether customers are leaving the bank or sort of picking up and moving to competitors. So far, from what we've been hearing, not a lot of that is happening. So it's not clear to us how much of this has affected the bottom line. It's worth saying that some clients have withdrawn from Wells Fargo. Chicago, Illinois, California governments have said that they no longer are doing business with the bank on some transactions. So it is starting to hurt a little bit, but it doesn't look like a lot yet.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out over the longer term. I mean, another take has been that the bank has emerged fairly unscathed. They paid a $185 million fine. They clawed back $60 million from executives. You know, what do you make of that take, that it really hasn't hurt them that much? Yeah,
when this initially came out, I think a lot of people looked at the size of the fine and looked at the amount of money, fees that the bank charged customers. It was like $2.5 million, and said, oh, this is a small thing. But it sort of built on itself. Washington, D.C. got involved, lawmakers got involved, and they brought Stumpf down to D.C. for not one but two hearings, first in front of the Senate, then in front of the House Financial Services Committee. So it's sort of picked up a life of its own and built on itself, and the scrutiny and the pressure on Stumpf really just has been building.